Hey there guys, TMO73 here, bringing you the first deck profile of the day. This is for my blue-green Pricia Tempo list. Very different take on Pricia. Catches your opponent off guard a lot, kind of uses your opponent's momentum against them in ways that really make them waste their resources while you just gain plus after plus until eventually they just can't keep up. So we have Pricia the Beast Lady is the ruler. Deactivate it, pay 2 green. You may pay the attribute cost of 4 Sacred Beasts, Resonators with will of any attribute. That's really important. And then for 2 green, target beast or Sacred Beast, 4 Sacred Beast gets +100/+100 for the turn. That third ability really isn't relevant because we have Quin, Djinn, and pretty much the whole deck is Sacred Beast anyway. But other lists, I'm assuming, would be able to make more out of that. So she flips over. She loses the ability to pay for Sacred Beasts for any color. Keep that in mind. You saw me mess that up a little bit. The stats are 800/800. She has 7 kings. She gets, if you control a light resonator, she gets target attack. If you control a water resonator, she gets flying. If you control a fire resonator, she gets swiftness. And if you control a wind resonator, she gets +200/+200. So she, based on the different attributes you have in their field, she gets different effects. And her God's Art is Awaken the Sacred Beasts. 3 green and X. Search your main deck for 4 Sacred Beast Resonators with different names, up to X Sacred Beasts of different names. Put them into your hand, then put Sacred Beasts with different names from your hand up to X onto the field. So essentially you do it for 6, 3 Sacred Beasts in from your deck, 3 Sacred Beasts onto the field, 3 effects. Really, really powerful way to push the game in your favor very, very quickly. She also can be a super finisher by herself based on when you have the Resonators. Like if you have Swiftness and Flying, blue-red, and a bunch of Regalia on your side of the field, and like some of the other spells that I'll showcase, she can easily deal, I've dealt 24 to even 3,000 damage with one Pricia swing on the turn she deactivates. So can really, really force your opponent to be like, what just happened? I'm dead. Moving on to the stones. Little Red, the pure stone. Typically you're going to call it green. Sometimes you're going to call it red. You're barely, and sometimes you're gonna want to call it blue just in case you happen to need a Cheshire first turn. And we'll talk about that. 4 Magic Stones of Deepwood for the blue-green, obviously. 2 Magic Stones of Moonshade. We don't really mind burning ourselves too much, and there is a lot of void cost that we can use for this, so we can, you know, tap for free in a sense, and we have life gain, so it's not a huge issue. And then 2 green stones and 1 blue stone round out the stone lineup. Resonator count for Cheshire Cats, the Grinning Remnant. We've talked about this card before. This card is an amazing card. Just being able to dig into your deck for what you need while being a protected wall, while walling up and stuff like that. Very, very good. Lots of draw power. So we have 3 Hanzo Hattori, Hanzo Hattori. When it enters the field, you draw a card. It's got flying and 300 damage. You can just do those little pokes. Plus, you can pump it up very easily to do some massive damage and kind of just swing in the game in your favor. Sacred Beast package for Zhu Que. This is the one that burns something for 200 damage for every Sacred Beast you control, and it has swiftness. Keep in mind it has to burn itself if it's the only available target. You have to burn something, but if it's the first thing you play, you burn it for 200, you're fine, you move on. If you can hit one of these turn 1 with Horn, you're in a pretty good shape for the game. At least for the early aggression. Then you have Zhan Wu, the turtle, the Sacred Beast. Really, 500, 700, very, very good stats. When this card enters your field, you can bounce target Resonator whose total cost is equal to or less than the number of 4 Sacred Beasts you control. Again, if he's the only one, you can force a bounce on himself and like fail to bounce in a sense, because it counts when the effect triggers and when the effect's resolved. So you can like target himself and fail to bounce and stuff like that. And when he blocks, the next damage he would take gets negated. So if your opponent's completely out of stones and is like swinging in with like a 12/12, you can just block with Zhan Wu and it won't take any of the damage. Very, 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 very good trick, especially with Lancelot's running rampant. Then we have 4 Quin Djinn, 8/8. When it enters the field, if you control another 4 Sacred Beasts, you get to draw a card. Really, really awesome. And you can pay 1 void to give all other sacred beasts you control +2/+2 for the turn. It creates a cloud effect, which is really, really nice. So like 4 sacred beasts that enter after you play the effect will still get the bonus. And if you have multiple, they can, you know, buff each other up. So like if I had 3 up and I paid 3, then each of these would actually be getting 400 point bonus from the other Queen Djinns. Really, really stacks up really quick and finishes the game off. Then we run 2 Bai Hus, just 2. I find that because we have the bows that I'll go into, target attack really isn't super necessary, and I don't want to life gain all the time. There have been some times where I would love to see this turn 1. If you can open up with double horn and this on your first turn, then you're actually really good shape for whatever your opponent can give on their first turn, because you have 6/6 target attacker going up against a 1-drop. It's very, very effective. Then you have 2 Djinn, the Genie of the Lamp. This is a 4/4 or 4-drop, 1k 1k. Has the enter effect of remove up to 3 target Resonators from your side of the field and return them when they can come back in. The thing is with this deck, because 4 Sacred Beasts as well as Hattori Hanzo have effects that say when this card enters the field, not enter effects, when this card enters the field, they will actually trigger off of Djinn. So you can do a lot of crazy plays where you can like swing in with 3 dudes, play your Djinn after the fact, bounce them, return them, they come in recovered, and you proc all their different effects. Really, really good trick to kind of finish it off. Moving on to the Regalia, obviously, you want to run 4 Horn of the Phantom Beast. It's your will engine as well as helping to make Pricia even stronger. It's really good against combo decks because you can just banish it for free and shuffle a graveyard back into the deck, as well as recurring your own deck if you're having to play the late game. 3 bows for early aggression, because this deck can have a problem sometimes if you hit a deck that's just too aggressive and you don't happen to draw into your horns or anything else like that. So sometimes some stability is important. So playing things like bow is really good too. Also, it makes running into a Zhanwu really painful, because like you'll go to block with the Zhanwu, they'll prevent the next damage, then you bow their dude anyway. So the Zhanwu is doing 500 and then bow does 400. So like you take no damage, their dude takes 900 damage. It's really, really potent. And then 2 Marybells, because bow is a hindrance against this deck. And so hitting things like bow or deep blue in certain matchups can be really, really powerful, as well as, you know, being an extra little creature that you can put out later if you're running out of steam, to be able to pay 5 and put out the 1,000 and immediately swing in to finish the game can have a really big impact. Spell lineup, we only run 4 different spells. We run 3 Alice Castling. This card is amazing for 1. You put target Resonator that you control onto the bottom of your deck, put target Resonator of the same cost from your hand onto the field, and then draw a card. So this is really good because, again, it's that manipulation of momentum, right? So typically what I'll do is things with like Zhu Que and Hanzo. What you can do is you can like have a Hanzo out on the field and have it have swung in or something, and then they go to attack it, and you castle it, put it on the bottom, put in a Zhu Que, and then you draw a card, and you get Zhu Que's burn effect, so you can burn something that's attacking. And when you combine that with like a bow, like you bow it, you castle in response, suddenly they're taking the damage from Zhu Que and the bow. You spent 1 will, drew a card, and killed their dude. It's really, really potent tricks. And you can do other things as well, like castling into a Zhanwu and bouncing one of their dudes, and then blocking and preventing all the damage, and just lots of shenanigans that you can do with this card. Then we run 3 Rapid Decays. The reason why we run this card is because it can puff up a J/Resonator, so it can pump up Pricia. Really, really awesome for that 400, and the fact that I can use it from grave once each time too is just really good. Like when you're sitting with like 2 or 3 open will, you've got a Rapid Decay in the grave and an Atlas Castling and a couple other creatures in your hand, and you have a board, like you feel really in control because your opponent really doesn't know which way the play is going to go, and so they have to really think, and then you have answers for them anyway, so they just waste all of that momentum. Really, really awesome card. 2 Xeex, because cancel spells can be important, especially against things like Nyarlathotep and Arthurs and stuff like that. You want to just cancel them or blazers and stuff like that, just cancel them outright. Field Pump, sometimes to finish the game off, is really, really good. And it's another way to stop combo decks because you can shuffle stuff up or cause, again, with manipulation of tempo, right? If they're gonna like put something big onto one of their Resonators, like an Djinn or something, you just Xeex it, make it untargetable by anything, and so they just wasted that momentum as well. They're really, really good. And then one Sprint of the Beast Lady, just as a finisher card, because this deck doesn't have a lot of high-powered creatures. Being able to just slam down a Sprint of the Beast Lady and swing in for like extra 600s everywhere when you've already pumped Sacred Beasts up with like Queen Djinn, so now everything's got like an extra grand of attack, is really, really satisfying. But only one, because you don't want to see it too often. And then because I really like this list, and because I think the sideboard really plays into what the style of the deck is, I am going to show you guys the sideboard that I use for this list. It's very different, so just bear with me. Blazer, Gill, Rabus. Just because we actually run a red engine, which is 3 Rapid Decays and 3 Thunders. Now I bet you're wondering, Jeremy, why would you do that? You're losing all this stuff in your main deck. I've structured the deck in the stone count so that I actually only lose 2 cards when I play the red, which is Bai Hu. I just lose the 2 Tigers. Every other card in the deck is completely playable, even when I side into Blazer. And players, especially when they don't expect a red base, get caught off by a red base really bad. You know, I'll flip over Blazer and they'll think, oh, they're just trying to kill my J ruler, whatever, no big deal. And then they'll play a 1-drop and they think that I've like they'll forget that I have Zhu Que's, so they'll like play their 1-drops and they're like, cool, Zhu Que kill you. And they're like, what? But I can still pay for the red cost of Zhu Que because of Blazer. Or they won't see a Rapid Decay coming because all the only stones they've been seeing both game 1 was blue and green. They're not really anticipating the red. It really tricks your opponent a lot. And then 3 Death Scythe just to be able to go with the Blazer in certain matchups and to prevent Swiftness. I found that I was playing this card by itself without Blazer just to turn off Swiftness from my opponent's J Rulers. Another Xeex just in case you want a little bit more cancel oomph based on the matchup. A couple of glimpses of Kaguya. This is for things like Valentina's Flash Effect, a God's Art. You can cancel a God's Art with this. Lots of different kinds of things you can do. And then lastly, 2 Medusas. This card is an amazing tempo card. I highly recommend using it with Alice Castling. So you wait until they're about to swing in with their big dude, you castle into a Medusa, you draw your card, you block with a Medusa, and force their dude to the bottom of the deck. Really, really powerful tempo play. So there you have it, guys. That is my blue-green Pricia Tempo list. Let me know what you think, how you would change the list. I'd be interested to see what kind of ideas you have. There's going to be some changes to the list once Twilight Wanderer comes out. I'm very excited about the cards that are in there. But until then, let me know what you think. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. And until next time, this is DMO73 signing off.